I want to review Solo, a Star Wars story from 2018, directed by Ron Howard, and of course the second in the Star Wars anthology film series. So yes, we are back once again, ready for Star Wars, and of course this time round we have the next spin-off, Solo, and yes, a few things to say about this one. I look forward to discussing this today, and yes, there will be a spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend going back to this once you've seen the film, and we can go from there, of course, and discuss this in the comments. It'd be really great to hear your thoughts. So yes, with all that said, let's dig in to a film that I saw for the first time, in 2022. I didn't see this when it came out, just like The Rise of Skywalker. It took me a bit to get to this, and yeah, wasn't sure what to expect. When I heard about this at the time, I guess I was, open, of course, to different spin-offs. It was kind of weird, I guess, hearing that someone else would be Han Solo, even though it was, when he was even younger, but, it was weird, regardless of that, just hearing someone else playing this legendary character. But I thought, I was looking forward to it. I just didn't get around to it at the time, and then going through the entire series, obviously he picked it up in 2022, and yeah. I must say, this is a film that did, when I first watched it, surprise me, and seeing it for the second time, I do really actually like this film quite a bit, and I think it is very different to the recent Star Wars films for the most part. It's very much, I found it to be overall just a fun adventure that didn't mess around with the characters. I think the casting was really, really good. Alden Ehrenreich, he especially, I think actually is a great Han Solo, and we had, of course, Donald Glover as Lando, so, especially these two, kind of characters, wonderfully cast, and of course, we do have, a massive cast elsewhere. Woody Harrelson, Emilia Clarke, we have Paul Bettany in the film as well, massive, actors in this, and I just think the casting is spot on, and, I found it to be just consistently, for the most part, a fun adventure that I was so invested in, actually, and once again, I'm reminded of a couple of spots that perhaps, could have been, trimmed down, a couple of dullish spots, but really, for recent Star Wars films, I would take this over a lot of them, let's just say that. But yes, we open up the film, on the planet of Corellia, and of course we have Han Solo and Kira, played by Emilia Clarke, showing their interactions, their love. Of course, it's a love story, and essentially, though, very soon into the film, we have this kind of separation, and they kind of, for a lot of the rest of the film, Han Solo is trying to get back to Kira, and of course, by stealing the coaxium, with this team of smugglers, he attempts to get back to her. And we do at one point, as we know, learn that she is working for Dryden. We have all this kind of, throughout, the second half of the film especially, there's a kind of a lot of twists and turns, I guess people's alliances kind of shifting at times, especially in that final act, which is very interesting. It doesn't always work for me, I must say. Thinking on that, I think Beckett, played by Woody Harrelson, he's really, really good in the film, but I think that final twist with him wasn't for my liking. I didn't really think that was needed, and you could say it makes sense, but I wasn't really big on that, and I think just, as well, some of the twists around the character of Dryden, of course, Paul Bettany is really, really good in the film again, spot on casting, and really enjoyed the interactions, but just some of the twists around Dryden, is a bit too much, perhaps, for me, in that final act, and a bit kind of, it's just a bit too up and down, who's working for who kind of thing. But yes, we do have, of course, along the way, Han Solo meeting with Chewbacca, and the legendary team up. We witness the beginnings of this, and I must say, when I first saw it, it was very unexpected, the way in which they do meet, and I think just seeing, it's very funny, just seeing the instant really connection they have, and it's just an epic kind of breakout there, and helping each other out, and then we do have this witnessing how they form this bond throughout the rest of the film. We do have as well the meeting between Han Solo and Lando, played by Donald Glover in this film. Just wow, seeing different moments in this film, especially at first, and in the final act as well. Just really great to see, the interactions here. I think that the chemistry once again between Donald Glover and Alden Ehrenreich, I think is really spot on, and I think it's just it's very humorous, and I think they got a lot of things right in this film. I think it's kind of a complex relationship that we did see obviously in the original trilogies with Lando and Han Solo, and it's really captured so well in this film. And I love as well seeing the beginnings of the Millennium Falcon, of course, and how it's all interconnected, I guess, between all the different characters, even secondary characters, of course, but Lando, and I do as well love seeing Chewie interact with other Wookiees in the film. There's that amazing kind of bit where he breaks them out, and later on in the film, and that is one of my favourite sequences. Just so cute, of course, but it's just very epic as well. Seeing the Wookiees and Chewie interact, and just how it's all connected. I do love at times how this film, it's very light and a very straightforward adventure film. We do have a few pieces of lore in the film, and just showing the Star Wars world, I guess, in a slightly different way, from a different perspective, and something we haven't really quite seen as much in the films. Stuff with Chewie like this, of course, being an origin story for these characters and how they met. It makes sense, of course, but still, it is very nice to see. And the action in this film, action-wise, mostly I really, really enjoyed this. I think there's some really creative moments visually and in the action, and just very fun. It moves in a very nice way for the most part. I have said there are a couple of moments that could have been trimmed. I guess is a little bit too there's, I guess could say a bit too long for what it is. But yeah, it's mainly just with the editing there. A couple of moments, sequences really. For the most part, the flow is very nice. While I do feel the editing is very nice, and for the most part it works. Visually, the film, now this is, I wouldn't say it's a mixed bag, but it isn't, perhaps in places it's a bit too dull for my liking again. Being shot on digital, and just at times it does show. I think there's a couple of sequences in particular that's a bit too dull, and it could have been more vibrant. And it would have been actually nice to see, really, really vibrant film, considering this, being a kind of origin story of Han Solo, and make this, obviously it's a very fun film, very adventurous film, jolly film at times, humorous, and it would have been better to see this vibrant film as well in that sense. But I do think some of the sequences are very, very good visually, and there's some really great effects in this film. This is one of the kind of highest budgets in a film I believe ever, and it wasn't it didn't do massively well at the box office, which is very interesting how that came about. But yeah, basically, I think at times the budget, it shows the visuals, the effects at times really, really something else. Other times though, just the way the film was shot, it could have been brighter, it could have been more vibrant, and more things standing out to me. That would have been nice. But overall, I think the visuals are fine. Some really good moments, some duller moments. But yeah, no, it's kind of as I say, it's better for me personally than a few of the recent Star Wars films in the visual department. So yes, action though throughout mostly is so engaging, and I love how it has this Western feel as well to the film, and there's of course jolly sci-fi romp. It's just some great moments later in the film. In the Falcon, all of them together, and it's just that epic moment. And later in the film, that creature, of course, that was really something else, and this kind of sustained sequence that was tense. It's very, creepy at times as well. I've said the comedy, mostly is really, really good. It does mostly feel very natural. Like a normal blockbuster film. It just mostly works every time, and it's a very natural and organic way in which the characters are, interacting with the comedy. But L337, kind of a companion to Lando in the film. I wasn't sure on the way it kind of ended. It's kind of this strange, way in which that happened. But regardless of all the different twists and everything like that, or things that happened, I just think this character is the one character really that the comedy does not work. Once again, very, very annoying actually, and I remember it being this annoying. Perhaps it kind of breezed over me, or just simply, forgot how I feel about this, character. But really wasn't big on this character, and I just think pretty much all the lines were very unfunny and irritating, and just didn't fit the film really at all for the most part. But yeah, all that aside, I think most of the characters, the main characters and supporting characters, just really, really good in this film. Dryden is a really good villain. Of course, Paul Bettany, great actor, and it was really just, it's this character, kind of a villainous charm that he has, and it's kind of this love to hate character, I guess, and also there are really, some tragic elements, the way it's kind of done with of course, Kira, and the way in which he has this hold over her, and adds that element, that different layer to the film, I guess, that was really, really interesting. It's very, very unique for a Star Wars film to kind of, some of the way this was handled, and I think, as I say, the characters, it's one of the strong points of the film. They do mostly work in their own way, and the interactions, that's what really makes this film. Of course, Chewie and Han, Kira as well. I think Emilia Clarke, really good casting in this film. She has a lot of chemistry of course, Alden Ehrenreich, and just as well, I think a very interesting character, Kira, and I personally really, for the most part, enjoyed this romance, this kind of love story, and I did. It was very sad, the way it kind of turned out, but it does, of course, leave, the kind of, I left, I guess, the film once again in the kind of jolly state, and this kind of uplifted feel, and focusing on, of course, Chewie and Han. That's the very true heart of the film is these perhaps these two characters, and some of my favourite kind of duos in cinema history, and it's great to see them teaming up, and them first meeting in this film. So yes, I do really like this film, as I've said. I'm quite big on this one, and I do think it's a very good film, actually. I think it's better than a lot of the Star Wars films recently, and I think seeing it for the first time, I was very surprised, actually how much I enjoyed this one, and how much I think they got it right in different elements. And seeing it again, it's definitely one that I can say it's a comfort watch again. It's going to be a nice one to now and then return to. It's a straightforward adventure film, but it has depth to it as well, and it's just very, very investing. I found throughout the film, mostly very, very investing, really charming interactions, seeing, of course, the Wookiees, seeing Chewbacca, and Han. Of course, this love interest as well, adds a layer of complexity, and, I think just seeing as well, these other characters, like Beckett, Dryden, and the like, it's really, a really, at times, complex light film in that sense, so overall, I do really, really like this film. My final rating is an 82%, so quite a high score for me, definitely, and I do think this is the one that has consistently some of the best action in the recent Star Wars films, and it's just this really jolly, but not just kind of one note light film, adventure film. It has layers, it has depth, complexity, and it's just overall, for me personally, a very, very enjoyable film. Very charming. The humour, as I said, mostly works really, really well. Just that one character mainly that does not work for me, and it's very irritating, and it's like a different film, comedy wise. But the rest of the the film, the comedy really, really works. It's just it's just such a charming film. I loved seeing it again, and a very good film for me personally. So that's my thoughts on Solo. Personally for me, it's one of the better ones that's come out. The last decade of Star Wars, and I think the casting, once again, I cannot stress that. The casting is spot on. Alden Ehrenreich, that is particularly great casting for me. I think they really done a great job with that, and of course Donald Glover as Lando. Really great stuff there. Just really, mostly, as I've said, the entire cast is one of the highlights. The action, another standout. It really feels very authentic and very natural for the most part. So yes, my thoughts on the film. What do you think? It'd be great to hear, and kind of discuss Star Wars in general, and what do you think of this film? What's your experience with this one? Kind of next up, we do have the final film to talk about. In these Star Wars films, of course, The Rise of Skywalker, and it's very interesting going to be going from this to that film, completely different, and obviously being the final film in the sequel trilogy, and I'll be sharing my thoughts on that very, very soon. Within a week from this upload, I'll be doing that. Yes, some things to say about The Rise of Skywalker. A very fascinating film, yeah, it's going to be interesting to talk about that. And also hear your thoughts on that one. And as I've said a few times, after that will be, over the next few weeks will be the Star Wars films ranked. So 11 films to talk about, and yeah, it'll just be my personal ranking from least favourite to favourite. So yeah, I look forward to that massively. And yeah, that's just a heads up there. But for now, Solo: A Star Wars Story, directed by Ron Howard, really was a very, very good experience once again for me. And this is a film that I really, really enjoy. And yeah, it's a charming action adventure film that I think visually it has its, its flaws. And for the most part, it's very consistent. But there are a couple of patches that I don't, I'm not big on. But overall, this is a film that I really enjoy, and it's a great time to go back to it once again. So yes, Solo: A Star Wars Story. That's my thoughts. As I say, what do you think? It'd be great to hear. And yes, next up will be The Rise of Skywalker to talk about on the channel. So yes, as always, take care and thanks for watching.